Good morning and welcome to Market Opening on our collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. Just after 9, let's get you all the opening action this morning. First, a look at the headlines. Have the US tariffs hit India's economic growth? This will be made clear with the July to September GDP growth figures being released this afternoon. Polls forecast the growth at between 7.2 to 7.5%, lower than Q1 but still higher than RBI's expectation of 7%. The Finance Ministry, meanwhile, expects growth in the 7 to 7.5% range. Nifty just shy of a record closing high set 14 months ago. The rally yesterday petered out under pressure of profit booking in the last 2 hours of trading. With Asian markets down after a 4-day rally, the possibility of hitting a new high or closing at a new record now does look a little bleak. It was a market holiday in the US overnight. National Stock Exchange makes derivative trading more affordable, announces smaller market lot sizes for several major index derivative contracts. Changes will take effect after December expiry. Lot sizes being reduced for Nifty, Nifty Bank, Nifty Financial Services and Nifty Midcap Select. IPO collections in 2025 break all records, cross last year's levels with a month still to go. More than 1.6 lakh crore has been raised in the primary market this calendar year. Reports say another 10 IPOs are lined up, which could take the total beyond 2 lakh crore rupees. Meesho is the next big one, opening on the 3rd of December. The latest Business Today MDRA Best B School rankings are out. Apart from ranking the top colleges on various parameters, the special issue also tells you which B schools are best adapting to a fast-changing world. Learn about the salary trends, placements and challenges ahead. Pick up your copy today. All right, well, US markets were closed on account of Thanksgiving. Asia this morning is a little tepid, so we've been having a pretty good week on the back of expected Fed rate cuts. However, markets seem to be petering out towards the end of the week. Having said that, really no complaints back home as well, hitting new highs yesterday and looking strong on the index. Momentum definitely intact. We in fact hit that new record or about to close above the new high, but just petered out at close. Shailendra Bhatnagar joining us this morning as well, my colleague, editor markets, Shell. But you're very confident this morning we'll be at it again.
Absolutely, Aabha. And there are two reasons. It's the last trading session of the week as also the month for November. Therefore, there will be a lot of NAV rebalancing by funds. They'd like to close it at a fresh record peak. That is one reason. And two, auto stocks. Eicher Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, and of course Maruti need to be watched. Hero Motors as well, because you'll have monthly numbers coming in on December 1st. So today is the last day to take positioning in a sector that's really outperforming. Thirdly, stocks like Canara Bank, stocks like Coforge are also showing signs of breakout. Broadly, we are in an uptrend and the closing today should be above 26,300 as far as the Nifty is concerned. So a fresh weekly high, a fresh monthly high and a fresh record high, Aabha. That is what I am looking at as an eternal optimist.
Absolutely. Well, it has been looking good and we can't complain, and so far it's indicating a green start as well. Let's take a look at some of the brokerage views coming in. We've got Jefferies on Lenskart initiating a coverage with a buy rating. They're looking at 500 rupees a share there on a Lenskart. They're also projecting a 23 upside. That's a day before Lenskart earnings, by the way, and a 24% revenue CAGR driven by strong volume growth. We've got forecasts about a 50% plus adjusted EBITDA CAGR over FY25 to 28. So that's Lenskart for you. On Reliance, Jefferies is also saying, and let's pull that up, buy call with a target price of 1,785 rupees a share. That's coming in on an RIL from a Jefferies as well. All three businesses, they say, are delivering double-digit growth from the start of FY26. Jio's impending IPO could also trigger tariff intervention in the near term, and that's going to be one to watch out for as well. On real estate, and remember, all that momentum that we're seeing in the segment clearly picking up in November after festive season slowdown in October, so we're back in action. Listed developers have had an extremely strong start to the year. Jefferies is expecting a 25% pre-sales growth in FY26. Godrej Properties and Lodha to deliver strong launches and sales in the second half. So these are their key picks when it comes to the real estate pack, Godrej and Lodha. HSBC has come in with a call on aluminium. They've incorporated 4 to 8% higher LME price assumptions for the calendar year 26-27, and they've said that global aluminium supply tightness is becoming evident as well and appears structural, so they do continue to prefer aluminium stock. So that's HSBC with a very positive view coming in there on aluminium. So that's those are some of the brokerage calls coming in this morning. Shell, what else is on your radar?
Aabha, a lot of interesting themes as far as markets are concerned. A lot of oversold positions in the commodity space. So I'm looking for a serious uptick on Reliance, on HPCL, on BPCL. I've already mentioned that we are looking at stocks like Canara Bank. We are looking at stocks like Coforge, as also frontline private sector banks, in particular Axis, in particular ICICI. They are showing signs of good strength, and of course I'm looking at 26,200 to be retested, and then we hope for a close above 26,300 as far as the broader markets are concerned on the Nifty. Aabha.
Okay, let's take a look at those GDP expectations as well. Now remember, we kicked off the year on a good note. We were above that 7.5% mark, but then we cooled off a little bit. We were still looking steady during the year. However, now we've got a whole host of projections coming in. Let's read those from your screen. Moody's is looking at a 6.8. ANZ is looking at 7. ICRA also a 7. HDFC Bank at 7.2. Yes Bank 7.3. We've got Barclays 7.4, as well as an ICICI Securities. And then we're inching up with an ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and a DBS saying 7.5, whereas Nomura is saying 7.6, and Deutsche is saying 7.7. So very, very strong expectations coming in from those GDP numbers this time around for July to September. The GST reforms largely would have picked up perhaps just towards October, but expectations clearly are that some of the other factors at play will contribute to those numbers being better this time around. Let me welcome in Mayuresh Joshi, who's also joining us this morning. Mayuresh, good to have you. What should we discuss first? The momentum on the index or the factors at play, including robust economic momentum?
Morning, Aabha. In fact, both, because I think markets have hit an all-time high at the index level. However, I think the broader markets, a lot of stocks still seem to be in pain, and therefore a lot of retail portfolios seem not to enjoy the all-time highs as we speak. But I think looking at all the economic data that has probably come through, how earnings are probably mapped out in Q2, and expectations of strong earnings recovery, along with strong macroeconomic data points, and resolutions, if any, on the Trump tariff front. I think all this will probably aid earnings growth substantially going forward as well. And therefore, I think a large part of the index rally is now behind us. We might rally more, but I think it's time for the mid caps and the small caps to now participate in them.
Absolutely. When we're talking about the broader markets participating as well, Mayuresh, where do you think the maximum pain has been, or has it been a little mixed overall when it comes to market breadth?
So it's a mixed Aabha. So I think if you probably look at the mid cap and the small cap universe, I think a large part of the universe is still underperforming, and the primary reason being earnings not being as resilient as the large caps, and therefore I think as we move into the second half and over the next few quarters, as things improve both on a macro and a micro landscape, qualitative companies within these spaces should start coming back quite strong. strongly. And therefore, my take is that once the large cap move is done, the next leg, as historically seen, does happen with leadership stocks belonging to the mid cap or small cap space.
All right, fantastic. I think that's the question most investors wanted answered this morning. Let's take a look at the index, kicking off with a marginal downtick right now. Remember, we've seen new highs, so possibly struggling a little bit to continue to build on that momentum at those higher levels, but still steady. No major cuts coming in, no major profit booking coming in, just holding fort at this point of time, both on the Nifty and the Nifty Bank. Let's pull up the gainers and losers today and see where the action is at. What's really driving the markets overall on the indices? It's pretty much even Steven. Wipro, Hindalco, SPI, Life, some of the movers coming in today. In fact, Wipro is up about 8-9% right now. We've been watching a little bit of that comeback recovery in IT. We've got Bharti, Grasim, Reliance on the upside, just marginally. Let's take a look at the losers list. Clearly, I think some sort of decline ratio, advanced decline ratio must be skewed towards the declines this morning. Definitely more red on the screen. Asian Paints, taking just a notch off. HDFC Life, Access. So clearly some of the financials sitting easy so far in today's trade. Infi isn't participating this morning. Tata Steel, Axis Bank also taking a bit of a breather. Most of the financials, then we've got some of the auto names. Aisha's also trending at a 52-week high just about. So we've got a whole host of those names that are sitting out right now. Clearly seeing some amount of a breather there, I would call it, Shell.
Absolutely, Aabha. I think let's wait for the first 15 minutes to lapse, but a bit of a red on the Lal Street. Advanced decline, as you rightly point out, favoring bears, but it's early session. 1049 in the green and 1122 in the red. You're looking at just 3 indices in the green, led by the auto index. So this is something that needs to be very, very carefully watched. Auto in top shape, and in terms of all-time highs, the 3 usual suspects from the NBFC space, some of them we've been marking very, very aggressively. Shriram Finance, M&M Finance, 365.50. This is a recent entrance in the list of NBFCs showing record gains, and of course L&T Finance. That's how the structure is for the market. I think best to leave it to Mayuresh. Mayuresh, any top winners that you see post the quarterly earnings in the mid-cap, small-cap space where earnings outperform, the stock is yet to take cues from that?
Morning, Shell. No, I think a large part of the universe, specifically in the mid-cap space, have actually reacted to strong earnings. So I think where earnings have come through, you've seen very strong double-digit gains happen for most counters. So I think, as an example, for FMCG, right, Nestle India, fabulous performance in terms of numbers. Again, it's a 5-digit stock, but I think the numbers were fabulous as far as Nestle India were concerned. If you talk about specialty chemicals, Navin Fluorine as an example, outstanding set of numbers compared to the entire pack that has probably happened. PSU banks, stellar and resilient set of numbers that have probably taken place. Mid-cap IT, a large part of that universe gave decent set of numbers compared to the large cap peers. And therefore, I think you've obviously seen these spaces outperform and reactions come through. Now, whether they are sustainable, I think is the bigger question, Shell. And looking at commentaries and expectations of how data is probably building up, even though valuations probably seem to be a tad bit on the higher side for all these winners at play, if the earnings compound at a decent pace compared to its peers, I think those valuation mismatches might still continue as we head into the second.
Okay, let's take a look at Lenskart today. It's buzzing ahead of earnings and of course positive brokerage views coming in on a Lenskart, but that one's moving nicely. Financials is clearly where we're seeing the knock today. But Mayuresh, we've been talking a lot about how there's value to be made here in terms of all the expectations from the returns on some of those banking and NBFC names. Where would you turn your attention within the financial basket right now?
So, Aabha, I think if I have to break down between banks and NBFCs, I think selective stocks might continue doing well. For banks as a space overall, I think how deposits will probably play out is going to be extremely critical in terms of their financial performance heading into the next few quarters. But I think with the rates probably getting rationalized, I think NIMs should probably remain far more stable. Asset quality pressures have obviously not accentuated as we speak. Obviously, there is a fear that with unsecured loans probably picking up more steam, will we see some element of slippages as far as bank balance sheets are concerned? And therefore, I think the bigger, larger banks is something that we still continue to remain constructive about. ICICI Bank from the large private space, SBI from the PSU universe, a few of the mid-sized PSU banks, though there are merger news and what ratios will come from, nobody knows that. But I think Bank of Maharashtra, Bank of Baroda still probably continue to do well from a financial perspective. For NBFCs, I think with interest rates going down, I think the expectation largely is that larger NBFCs borrowing costs go down substantially. At the same time, because they've got a good mix, both in terms of their advance and deposit ratios or the advance and deposit criteria, I think the expectation in terms of spreads or NIMs, again remaining consistent, seems to be a base case scenario. Asset quality pressures, again, not being accentuated, capital adequacy remains strong,
right,
which fuels balance sheet growth. Shriram Finance, Bajaj Finance.
Okay, so loads of picks there from the financial space. We've got 197 also moving up. It's potentially, of course, again, we've had recent brokerage upgrades. We've had steady numbers when it comes to 197. So we've also seen approval from the RBI for it to operate as a payment aggregator. So lots of recent news, but the stock is up about 3% right now. So that one's looking really good as we speak. Shell?
Yeah, Aabha, I'd like to mark Gas Authority of India at the moment, the top traded counter on the National Stock Exchange. Bit of a kerfuffle. You have the stock slipping 5.5% lower. Very heavy volumes, and that's because the sector regulator did not raise the tariff hike for the pipeline as requested by GAIL to 78 rupees per MMBTU. The hike has all been just to 65.69 rupees from 58.60, and that's the disappointment that's there. But this is something to be looked at with a positive thing, getting it 5% below. Citi on GAIL has a buy target of 215, ditto by UBS. So keep an eye out on GAIL. Maybe this is something that you will get at a cheaper price in terms of new highs. Of course, you have Shriram Finance, M&M that we've already marked, and a nice uptick coming in all Sensex and Nifty ETFs. Aabha, everybody's partying on Friday. Thank God for it.
All right. We're seeing, M&M is up today, but we're seeing some profit booking on the likes of Ashok Leyland, for instance. So it's a little bit mixed there in the auto pack. Let's also take you through a day ahead of the release of the GDP growth numbers. The Finance Ministry has forecast economic growth of 7 to 7.5% for the July to September quarter. In its monthly economic report for October, the ministry cited continued strength in underlying economic activity. It said the economy enters the second half of the fiscal on a stable footing, anchored by well-contained inflation, resilient domestic demand, and supportive policy dynamics. However, they did warn that global uncertainties warrant continued vigilance, and the report added that the rationalization of GST rates has provided a measurable boost to consumption. All right. Watching out, of course, for those GDP numbers coming in today as well. All right. Mayuresh, when it comes to, of course, the consumption boost, and of course, a lot of the, we've been talking about banks, we've been talking about auto, real estate as well. I'm going to bring that up. I know it's not part of what we, your durables or discretionary in that sense, but a broader, infra play. But we've also been seeing a lot of action on that front. I want to get your top picks from the real estate pack. We had some buy calls coming in this morning on Godrej Properties, on Shobha, or on Lodha. Where would you feel there's value to be found?
So I think anybody holding DLF or a Phoenix Mills should continue holding. I think the rationale here is pretty simple. DLF has got a diversified model as far as its residential and annuity business is concerned. They are adopting a nice calibrated asset-light model where they're going in for JDAs for their recent developments that are probably happening. They've got a reasonable amount of inventory that is already there onto their books, which will get converted because the sales velocity has been very, very strong for DLF and the recent launches that we've seen. And similarly for Phoenix, I think what you've probably seen in terms of their mall developments across cities, the fit outs are probably very, very strong. The rental escalations that are expected to happen over the next few quarters and years seem to be on the right track. And the hotel stroke key developments that they're probably doing, along with their mall development in a lot of areas, seem to suggest that utilization levels for the industry overall should hold up, helping us and guiding us, assuming numbers should probably remain far more resilient as far as Phoenix is concerned. So rating rankings look extremely strong as we see for both these counters at the Indian markets potentially.
We do have a fair amount of action in the small caps today or the broader markets. I mean, we've got something like a TTK Healthcare moving 6%. We've got a Wellspun Living up 4% today. All Cargo Logistics is up about 4%. So the index is taking a breather, but when it comes to broader markets, we're still seeing a decent amount of action coming in right now. Clearly, overall sentiment possibly also picking up in terms of a wider segment. Shell looking to participate in what they see is an ongoing rally.
Aabha, I think this is a time for the index to pause a bit after a stunning uptick of about 3.5% over the last 2 days. I would imagine a sideways phase is from 26 150 in a zone of 26 maybe 250 300, so that 120 point zone is where the Nifty will meander, but lots of action coming into the private nuclear space. Look at Walchand Nagar Industries, 7.5% higher at 178. You have RS Software doing pretty well. 63 Moons, again something that is on the financial software side, doing extremely well. 821, 5.5% higher. There are some names that I'd rather not take on air in terms of gainers, but fabulous rallies happening in the NBFC space. Look at 5-Star Finance, 608, 3.2% higher. Aabha, all is well in the world of markets.
All right, Mayuresh, thanks so much for joining us. We'll leave it there. It's a quiet Friday, but no complaints. Continue to trend at those all-time high levels. Thanks so much for watching.
Is meaning, a beginning chosen with intent. M is mindful, a pause that brings her back to herself. M is momentum, a single act that sets things in motion. M is the meeting of her many selves, modern, mindful, magnetic, shaping her milestones. Some milestones begin with a quiet promise to herself. With M Circle, she's not just earning, she's building. Some milestones are about staying strong. With M Circle, her health is our priority. Some milestones are about moving forward. With M Circle, her growth has the momentum it deserves.
M Circle is about priorities. M Circle is about power. M Circle is about partnership.
M Circle by AU Small Finance Bank, for every me at every milestone.
A very warm welcome on this lovely Friday morning in Delhi. We are looking at a test of 26,200 that's happening on the Nifty, it being the last working day of the week as also the last working day of November. We are hopeful that the markets will close on strength we are hopeful that mutual funds will manage NAVs in a manner where you have a record close, simply because the Nifty is also headed that way. Strength in the broader market is not visible. A bit of profit booking as markets negotiate record time highs. If you look at how the markets are structured at this point of time, there are more stocks on red, 1400 shares in the red versus 1100 which are in the green. It's just the auto index ahead of the monthly numbers that's doing pretty well. Strength coming into metals, look at national aluminium, but broadly what we see is weakness, profit booking, I would say, and of course the NBFC space continues to be in grave demand. Muthoot Finance, Shriram Finance, L&T Finance, M&M Finance, Shriram Finance in particular, all of them hitting record highs, and of course strength coming back into SRF from the FNO space. Kunal Parar joins us to discuss a lot more as far as markets are concerned. Two favorite stocks for today, Kunal?
If you talk about my favorite stock, then yes, M&M is on top priority. Since long, Selji, we have been continuously giving our recommendation in this stock only, not only for trading perspective but also for long-term perspective as well. Right now, stock is trading at 3751, and the way stock has been trading in its uncharted territory near to its all-time high. Further upside momentum would be there, and recently. This company has launched its two flagship CV 9SE and one more. It's racing version of BE60. So it will directly have impact on the stock price in upcoming trading session. So one can get into the stock at present level. Right now, M&M is trading at 3757, and if we talk about SL wise, and downside SL comes at 3650. If we talk about target wise, first target comes at 3840, and if stock break this level 3840, then further upside would be there up to the level of somewhere around 4000. So first stock is from my side, it's M&M, and if we talk about second stock, then actual looks very attractive on this level. Because recently stock has created its bottom, and since long we have been continuously focusing to create a long-term portfolio in this particular stock only. Right now stock is trading at 2464 level only, and recently stock has taken the support of its strong support of 2400 as well. So we may expect some kind of good upside momentum that we can see in upcoming trading session. One can get into the stock at present level. Right now stock is trading at 2465. One can keep SL at 2400, and if you talk about target wise, then first target comes at 2520, and if stock break this level, then good upside momentum would be there up to the level 2600 as well. So from my side, it's actual and M&M, not only for trading perspective but also for long term perspective as well.
Right. 9:33, ladies and gentlemen. The first 15-20 minutes of trade has lapsed. The Nifty showing strength after 15 minutes. You see 26,200 being appreciated and respected by both the bulls and the bears. So an uptick on that side, and of course strength coming back in stocks such as L&T Finance, M&M Finance, Shriram Finance. In terms of volume buzzers, you have Wellspun Living doing 3.5% higher. From the NBFC space, Kunal, I'll request you to take a look at 5-Star Finance, 3.5% higher, 610, and after that Lemon Tree Hotels about 157, 1.75% higher.
Well, if you talk about 5-Star right now, the way 5-Star is trading on a daily chart at 610 level. Stock has recently made its bottom somewhere around 520, and afterwards even it went up to the level of 660. Now if you talk about present level, stock looks very attractive at present level because stock has recently taken the support of its previous stock, which was placed at 589 level. So one can keep SL at 580. Right now stock is trading at 610. One can get into the stock with 580 as a SL. If we talk about target wise, first target comes at 633, and if stock break this level, then further upside would be there up to the level 670. So yes, 5 star looks very attractive. And if we talk about Lemon Tree Hotel, right now Lemon Tree is trading somewhere around 158, and since last 4 to 5 trading sessions, we have been witnessing magnificent momentum from the bottom of 148 to the level of 158. Now, no fresh recommendation for this stock because risk reward is not that much of favorable for creating any long position. But yes, if you have this stock in your portfolio, then hold this stock. We may see very good upside momentum up to the level of 164 to 170.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 9:35. It's Friday, and let's get some sunshine back on the stocks as well as the markets. Aabha joins us.
Sure. Lemon Tree, yes, has been on a massive expansion. Again, two more properties announced now, Gujarat, Uttarakhand. So Lemon Tree is looking good. Real estate's looking good. Ashiana Housing launching 750 crore residential project in Gurugram. We've also seen a whole host of other real estate counters in the news for various different reasons. Sona Comstar to apply for India's rare earth scheme. They're seeking foreign tech partners, so that one's looking good as well, or in the news, pardon me. But, talking about Sona Comstar, and let's pull that up for you. Just take a look at how it's doing. And yesterday, we also had a whole bunch of auto ancillary names like a Samvardhan and so forth that were really riding high. The momentum from auto, we've been waiting for the rest of the pack to catch up in terms of ancillary plays, Kanal. Where are you finding some amount of, attractive value in that part of the market?
Well, if you talk about auto ancillary, auto and all, I think, we have already, discussed about this Sona BLW last Friday. We discussed about this stock. Stock has been trading above its 100 days moving average, and when we discussed about this stock last Friday, it was trading somewhere around 480 to 485. Right now, stock is trading at 510. And I think this is the perfect level. Again, one can get into the stock not only for trading perspective, but for long-term perspective, because stock has already formed its bottom. Stock has also has already given a breakout of its, falling wedge formation, and right now trading at 510 level. If we talk about target wise, first target comes at 560, and if stock break this level, then one way rally would be there up to the level of 620. So yes, definitely stock looks very attractive in terms of risk reward. Downside support comes at 480. Not only this, if we talk about Samvardhan, Motherson, Sumi, then the way the way stock has been trading on its daily chart. Right now, we are seeing somewhere around 116 that the stock is trading at, and stock has already given a breakout of its upper band of rising waves. Now this is like the unique breakout that normally we do not see in the market, but yes, whenever we see this kind of breakout, stock may move in a very sharp upside momentum. Right now stock is trading at 116. One can get into the stock at present level with strict stop loss of 112 for trading perspective. If we talk about target wise, first target comes at 125, and if stock break this level, then further rally would be there up to the level of 131. So yes, from my side, one can get into the stock in Motherson, Sumi, and for Sona BLW, yes, one can go for even portfolio creation strategy in this Sona BLW.
All right. From the broader markets, and let's talk about small caps for a moment, and I know you've already picked up a few, Kunal, but a lot of investors are, waiting to see performance coming in the broader markets as well. So let's talk a little bit more about that in terms of a few other names, when it comes to small caps and which are perhaps stable investments right now.
Well, if we talk about small caps in recent rally, we have seen a very magnificent momentum in small, mid cap and small cap sectors. Yeah, selective stocks ran very well, but if you talk about particular stock wise, and if you talk about particular momentum, then one should keep an eye on selected stock like BLS. We have already talked about 5 star, which is trading at 606, and we have given our first recommendation for 5 star. But yeah, one more stock is there. It's a BLS. Right now stock is trading at 330, and I know that even Friday we talk about the stock BLS, and it was trading somewhere around 322. Again, I'm going to recommend this stock as a fresh recommendation, 329, which on which right now counter is trading. If we talk about SL wise, downside support comes at 310, and if I talk about target wise, the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, first target comes at 344, and if stock break these levels further northward, march to would be there up to the level of 370. So yes, BLS looks very attractive from this small cap 100 index.
9:39, ladies and gentlemen. We are also looking at some volume breakouts happening despite broader profit booking. I'd like to mark a couple of stocks in terms of both gains as well as losses. Look at KSB Pumps. This is again a quasi-nuclear play where private sector is supposed to get an entry into the Indian setup. 776, 4.5% higher, very strong volumes. 3.26 lakh shares have been traded. Look at Force Motors, 3% higher, 17,765. VBL, which is Varun Beverages, is something that you need to look at, 2.8% higher, 480. Garden Reach, Devyani Foods, as well as Hindustan Zinc are some names that I'd like to highlight for the week which is next, and of course auto stocks in top form. Aabha.
Okay, can't help talking about the IPOs and the new listings and that segment of the market. I know we have limited chart action there, Kunal, but 197 is on fire today. We've had Lenskart moving higher on expected solid returns coming in. Nykaa's close to a 52-week high. So we've been seeing some pretty solid momentum across some of these names. Would you like to take a shot at it? Any of these?
Well, if you talk about Lenskart, Nykaa, and all, then one should focus on Nykaa, because the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, stock has been trading about 100 and 200 days moving average, and we have seen a very good handsome return in this counter from the bottom of 160 to the current level of 267. Recently, stock has also given a breakout of its flat formation on an early chart. So yes, definitely further upside will be there. And if you talk about the daily chart, stock has been trading in its higher top higher bottom formation. So technical structure gives some kind of confidence to get into the stock at present level. If you talk about SL wise, downside SL comes at 262. Right now, stock is trading at 268. We will keep SL at 262, and if you talk about target wise, first target comes at 273, and if stock break this level, then yeah, further upside would be there up to the level 280. Whereas if you talk about Lenskart, then I do not have any particular view, because I do not have any enough chart history, but right now stock is trading at 411, and yes, since after the listing high volatility is there, so one should avoid as of now the stock.
All right, so avoid at the moment. Okay, so clearly the jury is still out on some of the new listings, waiting to see them settle down before any buy calls start to come in. But 197 definitely has seen a nice buy call and upgrade coming in from a Goldman, I think. So that one's definitely hitting the brokerage charts, and Jeffries on Lenskart has initiated a buy call with a target of 500 rupees a share. So those are the ones in the news there. Let's talk about some of the metal names, Kunal, and which ones are you tracking? The aluminium majors, because further structural view and more buy calls coming in there, or some of the other names on the basis of the rare earth play like GMDC, for instance. What are you tracking within that pack?
Well, since last 1 week, we have been witnessing some magnificent momentum in this metal sector. No doubt, no news were there from China. Even then, we witnessed very good handsome momentum in this metal sector. But at present level, if you talk about fresh recommendation, fresh momentum that we can see this counter, the Hindustan Zinc is there. Not only this, since last 2 weeks, we have been continuously suggesting our view on this Hindustan Zinc. Right now, stock is trading at 482. One can get into the stock at present level, and if you talk about SL wise, downside SL comes at 472. Right now stock is trading at 482. We will keep SL at 472. If you talk about target wise, first target comes at 490, and if stock break this level, then further upside would be there up to the level of 502. So yes, from trading perspective, Hindustan Zinc look very attractive, but If you talk about somewhere of medium term to long term, then one should focus on VEDL right now trading at 521. Not only this, stock has been trading above its 100-200 days moving average, and it has been trading in its higher bottom formation. So long term trend is on northward direction. Only one can get into the stock at present level, as I'm suggesting this for long term, so I'm not going to give any assets, but yeah, target is there. We can expect somewhere around 570, and if stock break this level, then yeah, further upside would be there up to the level of 640. So VEDL for medium term to long term, whereas Hindustan Zinc is for trading perspective.
All right. That's on some of the metal names. I think we'll leave it there. Kunal, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Continue to track the index to see whether or not it builds up momentum for new highs in today's session. But otherwise, it's a quiet Friday at the moment, and we are watching out for the GDP numbers. That may give us the next fillip and some indication of how growth is picking up and continues to remain intact. So we'll leave it there for now, but do stay tuned. Lots more coming up.
What will people remember about you? It's a big question, isn't it? The way you've lived, the meaningful connections you've created, the lives you've touched, and the success you've achieved. And that, my friend, is legacy. AU Eternity, an elite banking program for your path to bigger pursuits. A journey that brings you closer to timeless legacy with unforgettable experiences. Like the weekend round of golf with an esteemed circle where your meaningful connections are forged. With airport dining experiences, turn your travel break into moments of indulgence. And want to stay sharp for a lasting impact on every business trip? The International Lounge Access is the absolute way to go. Also, you can step into a world-class getaway with Marriott to create lifelong memories with your family. At the end of the day, a legacy isn't just about what you leave, it's how you live. With AU Eternity, every experience, every privilege, every choice is a part of the story you're writing. So live a legacy that's timeless with AU Eternity.
भारत के लिए आज बहुत ही बड़ा दिन है। 2030 का कॉमनवेल्थ गेम